One of the most decisive weapons of World War II wasn't a torpedo or a bomb. It was an unstoppable beam of light. By 1942, the Battle of the Atlantic was a razor's edge. German U-boats, the infamous wolf packs, were strangling the Allied war effort, sinking hundreds of merchant ships carrying vital supplies. They owned the night. Under the cloak of darkness, they would surface to recharge their batteries and race to new hunting grounds, faster than the submerged escorts trying to protect the convoys. Allied Coastal Command had a secret weapon of their own: airborne radar, specifically the ASVAV, or air-to-surface vessel radar. This technology allowed bombers to detect a surfaced U-boat from miles away, even through thick clouds or total darkness. It should have been a death sentence for the U-boats, but there was a fatal flaw. The early radar systems had a minimum detection range. As the aircraft descended for the attack, the U-boat would vanish from the scope at a distance of about 1 mile. In the pitch black of the mid-Atlantic, a mile might as well be 100. The bomber crew was flying blind, trying to drop depth charges on a target they could no longer see. The U-boat captain would hear the approaching engines, order a crash, dive, and slip away into the depths. Frustration in Coastal Command was mounting. They were finding the enemy, but they couldn't finish them. How could they possibly bridge that final, deadly mile of darkness? The answer came not from a high-tech lab, but from the mind of one determined officer: Squadron Leader Humphrey D. Verd Leigh. Leigh was an intelligence officer, not an engineer, but he saw the problem with chilling clarity. The hunters needed to see their prey. His solution was audacious, almost laughably simple: mount a massive, powerful searchlight onto a bomber. He envisioned a plane homing in on the radar signal, and then, at the last moment, flipping a switch to illuminate the U-boat in a brilliant, inescapable glare. It was a radical proposal. The initial reaction from the Air Ministry was outright dismissal. They argued a giant searchlight would be too heavy, too bulky, and the aerodynamics would be a nightmare. Furthermore, they believed the glare would blind the pilot just as much as the enemy. The idea was officially rejected, but Leigh was a man possessed by his conviction. If the government wouldn't build it, he would. Working in secret, with his own funds and the help of friends, he began developing a prototype. He acquired a 22 million candela carbon arc searchlight, the same kind used for naval signaling, and devised a retractable housing. His chosen aircraft was the Vickers Wellington bomber, a reliable workhorse of Coastal Command. The challenge was immense. The light was 24 inches in diameter and drew a massive amount of power. It had to be housed in a streamlined turret that could be lowered into the slipstream without destabilizing the entire aircraft. Months of tireless work passed. Finally, in early 1942, he had a working model. He arranged a clandestine demonstration for key officials, using a dummy submarine in a Scottish lock. The results were breathtaking. A Wellington bomber, guided by its ASVAV radar, approached the target in complete darkness. Then, from the belly of the plane, a brilliant spear of light stabbed through the night, perfectly framing the submarine. The bomber crew had a crystal clear view for their attack run. The demonstration was an unqualified success. The officials who had once dismissed the idea were now its most fervent supporters. In the darkest war, innovation was the brightest light. The Leigh Light, as it would be known, was rushed into production. Was this single invention enough to truly change the course of the war? The theory was sound, but the reality of combat would be the ultimate test. The system was ingenious. The radar operator would guide the pilot toward the U-boat. As the radar echo was about to disappear at the 1-mile mark, the bombardier would take over, using a simple sight to keep the target centered. He would then switch on the light. The U-boat, its crew suddenly blinded and exposed on the surface, had less than 60 seconds before depth charges would be raining down upon them. There was no time to react, no time to dive, no time to escape. The first kill credited to a Leigh Light occurred on June 5, 1942. A Wellington from 172 Squadron detected the Italian submarine Luigi Torelli on its radar. As the bomber closed in, the familiar radar echo vanished. But this time was different. The bombardier flipped the switch. The sub was lit up like a stage prop, the depth charges were dropped with pinpoint accuracy, and the Torelli was severely damaged. News of this new terror spread like wildfire through the German U-boat fleet. The night was no longer their sanctuary. U-boat crews began calling it Das verdammte Licht, the damned light. The psychological impact was just as devastating as the physical destruction. Captains were now terrified to surface in the dark, forcing them to stay submerged, draining their batteries, and dramatically slowing their operational tempo. This forced a critical change in German tactics. They had to abandon their successful night surface attacks. They started spending more time underwater or tried to surface during the day, where they were more vulnerable to conventional daytime patrols. Combined with long-range aircraft like the B-24 Liberator, which could also carry the Leigh Light, the infamous Mid-Atlantic air gap was finally sealed. Before the Leigh Light, only one U-boat had been sunk by an aircraft at night in the entire war. In the months following its introduction, dozens were caught and destroyed. It wasn't just a gadget. It was a complete paradigm shift in anti-submarine warfare. It perfectly complemented the existing radar technology, turning a detection system into a lethal killing system. They turned a bomber into a hunter's moon. Humphrey de Verdley's stubborn genius had paid off on a scale few could have imagined. His refusal to take no for an answer saved countless lives and shortened the war. He created a weapon that didn't just destroy enemy vessels. It stole their most valuable asset, the cover of darkness itself. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions are born from a single, brilliant idea that refuses to die. The story of the Leigh Light is a testament to the power of battlefield innovation. If you found this story of ingenuity as fascinating as I did, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to the WWII Record Hub for more incredible stories from the greatest conflict in history. We've got a lot more to uncover.